Welcome to Keeping It Real with the Sisters of the Light. I'm Ann Keither, here with my amazing friend, Terry Ann Russell.
Hello.
And tonight I'm so excited because it's Q&A. I like these. I love these. We were just talking about these. I just get excited over these questions. And yeah.
It's so fun to do, isn't it? Because it's like everybody's got all these questions and they're trying to get answers for them. And there's so much that's going on right now. People are really like thrown through a loop. I got to do some channeling today.
Oh.
We were talking a little bit before the show started. And so what's coming through is what I was told is these frequencies that they're tuning in. They're like extra high, and people who are extra sensitive or high vibration, it's affecting them. So I've felt like I've had my head in a vice for 3 days. I've been taking Advil like crazy. But what they told me, so guys, this is really exciting. There's a lot going on now. This is the time. I swear, if you want to be alive in any time, I'd say this is the time to be alive. Mass adjustment is occurring. So they are there. They're in the skies. They're watching us. They know that something's going to go down. What I heard, this blew my mind. All right.
Should I be scared right now? I swear, Terry, on you and your asterisk.
There's a backup power grid. You want to talk about fucking mind blown, all right? I was so worried that the grid is going to go down because a few years ago I kept being told the grid was going to go down. It would be between 3 days and 3 weeks, and we'd be without power, without food, and all of that. So we're already seeing the things with the food going on in the stores and the crops and everything that's going on behind the scenes. Yeah. Okay, so we're already seeing that now. So my concern was we're going to have no power, but they told me, and yes, I'm in the bathroom the other day, going to the bathroom. Mind you, this is just a couple of days. Holy shit. And I hear there's a backup power grid. You don't need to worry. So there is an alternate power grid that we're going to have. We may lose power for 3 days. That may happen, but it's not going to be for an extended period of time. But the preparation, what they kept stressing for me was the preparation. We need to prepare. You need to have food. You need to have water. Okay, those things are virtually very important, whether we go into a food shortage or whatever it is, or whether we can't get to the store, access our money, whatever it is, we need to be prepared. And you see a lot of people, I have a lot of friends similar to you that have bought land. I'm like, damn, I should have bought that friggin' land when my husband wanted me to.
Because you know what, they're like I want to apologize. For some reason we have a light going on and we have no idea where it's coming from, and it's kind of annoying me, so I want to apologize. But you know what, that is like my husband, he's such a theorist, and he keeps on saying, that was the first thing, like he is growing his vegetables out there now. He's getting prepared. And as much as I personally, I can't wrap my head around it, and I know you're there, but I've heard other people say the same thing too. And it's not something like just now, like how you were saying, this has come to you a while back. And other people I've talked to, there is so weird because they're saying the same thing too. And I heard them say it. So it wasn't just like, the storytelling kind of thing, but it really is true of what's coming. But I can't grasp it. I'm one of those things, I got to see it, believe it, even though I talk to spirit and I can't see them. But it's just one of those things. It's very hard for me. But I do agree. We do have to get ready. But don't you think everybody, in a way, people already know it? Because when you do
look at your husband, he's not, let's explain, he's not intuitive, right? He's not per se intuitive, but he is very intuitive.
Yes, I would agree with
my husband.
Yes. And you know what? And when we go to the store more, things are getting off the shelf. I think people are just not announcing it like last time, walking out of the grocery store with 40 things of toilet paper. Now they're just grabbing the toilet paper every time they go. They're grabbing some more stuff, a little bit more as they go. Because I think they just don't know where we are right now. I just don't, but I think it would be very stupid for us to say, oh, that's not going to happen. You know what I
Wouldn't
mean?
you rather be prepared? I mean, they told me no fear
Absolutely.
behind it. We are just preparing. They don't want it to be fear-based at all because I know that we'll be okay. But they
Yeah.
want you to be prepared. I mean, nobody wants to go without food for their family. I mean,
Yeah.
so stock up on some food. It really doesn't. If you've been preparing, and I've done this twice already, and we moved in the RV and we were traveling, so we had to get rid of. I donated a lot of food because we didn't have the space.
Oh, right, right,
But
right.
I'm like, holy shit, like this gonna go down when I'm on the road and I got like 2 cans of peas in my friggin' pantry.
That's so true. Well, I have a really good friend. Her and her husband love going hunting. And I always used to tell them, I'm like, if shit goes down, because I think I forgot when it was, a couple of years ago, when the world was supposed to come to an end at midnight or something. And we're all
Oh,
sitting around.
Y2K?
Yeah. No, it was the one after that. Another guy said something was going to
Oh,
happen.
2012 when
Yeah.
actually this all shifted in 2012, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if it was, it might have been. I don't know. I've lost track of time, but I just remember us all sitting around her pool drinking a cocktail. And I'm like, okay, but at least I'm at the right person's house because you can go get me food. I'll cook it, but you can go kill it for me, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just being prepared and just getting ready. So do they give you a time frame or anything like that?
Well, no, because I've been getting this information for years. It's like I thought
Mm,
years ago it was going to happen. And then when COVID happened, I was like, all right, this is it. We need to prepare. I kept telling my husband we bought some rice and beans. You can
mhm,
live off rice and beans forever. We have
forever.
water stocked up. We have the big 5-gallon jugs of either distilled or alkaline water we buy.
Yeah.
Um, so we were prepared. And then we went on the road and I'm like, okay. So we had to cut back a lot. I
Hmm.
donated a lot of food. And then now I'm hearing it again. So I'm
Hmm.
not sure if it was just diverted at that time or
Right.
I don't really get time frames and I don't like to really say,
Yeah.
oh, it's gonna happen. Because then people are like, oh, well, it didn't happen, you know, because
Yeah.
really essentially there is no time. What I will get sometimes, especially for me personally, I'll get a month. Like I knew we had just moved into our house. Oh my God,
Mhm.
my husband's gonna kill me one day. We had just moved in our house to rent when we moved to Sedona,
Uh-huh.
and we had just signed the lease. It was like September, and I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna move in March." And
Oh.
he's like, "What are you talking? Like, are you crazy? We just got here, like, and then you're gonna break the lease, and you're gonna owe all this money and
Yeah.
dues and whatever. And are you fucking crazy?" And I'm like, well, that's what I heard. So, you know, time goes by, March comes, boom, it's time to go. And he's like, but
Yeah.
COVID happened. So we were able to get out of our lease
Oh,
with
good.
no penalties. So we stayed for a year and a half and we were able to get out of our lease in March. So now he didn't know that. I didn't know that, but I got the term March. So I was like,
Right.
okay, it's March. So it
Right.
was the next March and that's when it happened. But he was like screaming, but had COVID not happened, you know, I
Mm.
don't know.
Yeah. Isn't it, you know what? It's crazy. I do like that to say, and I think that was one of our questions tonight. I have to
Mhm.
go through, I have to open my thing. Um, I think that was something on here that somebody wrote. I'll have to go through it.
Okay.
But on me, yes, I don't like giving time, right? Because yeah, I don't want somebody to get like, well, you said this time, but
There's so
I
many
do,
variables.
yeah, but I do have to say that I learned this years ago and it works for me. If I ask spirit, so like if I go, okay, this is now, and I say, show me a year, and they show me like a year over here, right? And then I'll come back and then I'll say, okay, tell me today or when it's going to happen. I get a regulator and it's pretty good.
Mm.
It'll tell me. So I'm like, maybe, 3 months or whatever. And, I'm sad the last two times that I've used it is when people have asked me about loved ones dying. And when normally it's right on my hand and I can feel my hand, it's very immediate
Mm.
or it's coming in the coming days. Um, but yeah, usually I just regulate. Like I won't get 7 days, 14 hours, and I won't get that, but I'll get an estimate of kind of
Yeah.
of where I need to go, the ruler of
Mhm.
that. So that
Yeah.
works. But yeah,
I like that.
I'm not a fan of the date, but that seems to work for me when I do that. And it's
Mhm.
funny how it does. It's almost like the pendulum. When you use
Mhm.
the pendulum, it moves until I realize that my hand can't move anymore. It just wants to stay in that whatever,
Yeah.
and then I
Mhm.
know where that is. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the pendulum is another way you can use it to decipher.
Mm,
And like I said, there's so many variables. I don't think what people understand is like there's so many things that affect it. Like if you're going to say I want to meet somebody and I'm supposed to meet him, blah blah blah.
mhm.
Um, and I say 3 to 6 months. Well, say you chose. I mean, use my husband and I. He came to Arizona, and then I came to Arizona.
Right.
Say I didn't come to Arizona.
Mhm.
There's so many things that are free will here. So what if I didn't
Absolutely.
come to Arizona? What if it got postponed? What if I followed another path? There's so many variables that go into that you can't just say to somebody, "Are you going to meet this man in 3 to 6 months, and this is where he's going to be and show up?" Because I don't
Yeah.
believe that. Because say
Mm-mm.
this person doesn't decide to come to wherever,
Right.
it's not
Or
going to happen. Or you can meet him someplace else. But so
yeah.
there's so many different things.
And I think also when you put it out there, your intention is like, oh, maybe next weekend, right? Let's say next weekend at
Mhm.
some restaurant or whatever. But something happens and shifts where you can't make it to that restaurant. All the intention was put there and it was a good flow, but something happened that diverted you so you
Mhm.
couldn't
Mhm.
make that transaction happen. And it's so funny because the more we keep on talking, I think we're answering our questions. Okay, so do you
How
want to
could
go
that
first?
be?
I know. Isn't that so funny? If that doesn't tell you how just shit, you can't make this shit up kind of stuff. And yeah.
Not at all.
All right. So you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Sure, I can go first. So I'm not giving any names tonight. I'm just going to go through my questions and see
Okay.
what jumps out at me. But I think we each got 4 or 5. So we're just going to go through and see where we should start. So the first one I really liked. I think this is amazing.
Ooh.
How can I overcome a phobia? I have a phobia, I have a fear
Uh-huh.
of water. So how can I've heard that past life regression can help overcome phobias.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer to that is absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of times, a phobia, like my daughter, for example, is very fearful, especially when she was younger, of water on her face. She could like slowly step into the pool each year, but she didn't like water on her face, even in the bath.
Right.
And later, as I got into this work, I didn't know this at the time, and also some of the past life regressions that I've done, people have drowned in other lives. So
Mm,
that's cellular memory. Like for me, for example, I was killed by being hung.
right. Right.
I don't like anything touching my neck.
Isn't that crazy?
It's
Yeah.
not a phobia, but I get very anxious, and so there's no reason that I should be feeling like that. A
Right.
normal person wouldn't feel it. So when we do a past life regression, we go into past lives, and we can look at those things. And
Mm-hmm.
so once what I find is there's really nothing that needs to be done. What we find is when we go through a past life regression, so your soul is taking you on that journey to understand what that's about. So say if it is a drowning, and your soul will show us when that soul drowned or died.
Right.
Having that awareness now that the soul is now you and
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need that anymore, there shouldn't be any fear around it. That just sort of organically happens, that's healed. There's nothing anything that I do. I do sometimes do energy healing through that work. I will do
Right.
energy healing just to make sure that it's fully cleared.
Mm-hmm.
But there's normally nothing to do. It's very organic how it happens.
Yeah. And I
And
think
so
it's
that's cellular. It's all in your memory.
yeah, and it's once you get that awareness of where it's coming from, I think that eases it. Like I've always been afraid of heights, always
Mm.
to this day. And in one of my past lives, I found out that I was in a car, not a car, a plane accident. Now I love to
Wow.
fly, but when I'm going through the airports itself to get to the plane, and after the plane, I will get many little panic attacks. And I have to
Wow.
just keep on telling myself it's just a panic attack. It's just a panic attack. But I think it really goes to that plane accident that I was in. It,
Yeah, isn't it? I find it so
Mhm.
fascinating, don't you?
Yeah, because I don't understand any other reason why I would have it, and I've always tried to do what people say, oh, face your fear, go do it. So, I get on the roller coaster and I freaking hate it. I get off the roller coaster and say, okay, well, that sucked. I'll never do that again. You know, I know I hate it. So why do
Well, let me ask you, so after you had the past life regression, did it sort of ease up or heal?
yeah, because now I know. Now, when it comes to me, like I can tell myself, okay, Anne, this is why it's happening.
Right.
this is what's causing it. This is what's triggering it, and you're going to be fine. There's
Yeah.
nothing other than that. Nothing's going to happen. It's not a bad vibe because that's the whole thing. Because you can trick yourself thinking, "Oh my God, something's going to happen."
Right.
But once I do that, then I realize, okay, there's no trickery. It's just I went through this. I don't want to go through it again. So it's my
Right.
brain just reminding me, hey, we don't like this. But then once I tell myself, okay, this is where it comes from, I'm totally fine. I love flying. I love going places. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
I
I
think
would say if nothing happened to you in this life,
mhm.
more than likely it's a past life event that your soul is just afraid and afraid that it's happening now or going to happen now.
Yeah, I think every person, if you are a person, well, we talk about this all the time. I think we all have trauma, right? There's some form of trauma. Everybody has it. I think that word is being used so much now because I think a lot of people are going through it. True, and but I honestly think that if you're going in, you're getting all the counseling, and there's still something that's not breaking you free from the trauma, then I really highly suggest, yeah, getting with somebody like you that does past life regression and see if maybe it came back from somewhere back then,
Yeah.
right? Because I have two. I have the fear of the flight, and then my other one, but it was this lifetime when the fear of always having the money. I always needed to have my bank account at a certain amount because it would freak me out. And then once I realized, I went back and did some learning, I come to find out that that energy was from my mom and my dad.
Mm,
When my dad had his accident, he would have to leave the police force. It was just so traumatizing. But then I was like, oh my gosh, all this time I was thinking it was me, that maybe
right.
I wasn't good with money or whatever, and that fear of it. And yet it was because of them. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I highly suggest that doing that. If you are still stuck and you're not moving forward, go get it done. What is it gonna hurt?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's pretty impressive what comes up. So I do have to say that.
So what's
All
your
right.
next question?
Okay. So, are we giving names or no names? Should I give
That's
names?
up to you. I'm not going to give any. They
Okay.
know who they are.
Well, that's true. Okay. So, well, I just wrote June, so I'm going to write June. Okay. Can spirit give dates? Here we go. It's the very first one. I said, here, let me read through. Okay. Can spirit give dates of when something will happen? Mm, I think that is, I don't think they give you, I think they give you a time frame, but I don't, going back to what we were discussing, I don't think they give us a direct answer because everything is free will and everything can happen.
And
Yeah.
that's what it triggers people when you tell clients that because they're like, "Well, don't you know?"
Well, yeah.
Well,
But
I
if
can,
you
I know, but like I said, say like I use the example. The easy example I found using years ago was
Mhm,
say you go to a restaurant and I tell you you're going to have chicken for dinner. Now you
mhm,
go to the restaurant and you decide you want to have steak for dinner.
mm,
That's your free will choice.
that
So
is
you
true.
understand you can go to the restaurant, have steak. That's your choice. I could be wrong
Mhm,
because that's what I saw, but you have the choice to change anything that I see, anything you that's what it is to be a human being on this earth. We have
right.
free will.
Right. And I think if you stayed on track and didn't very off the path, I think you would hit it. But if you veer off like I normally do, like, oh my gosh, I came back and I thought I was going to do so much off of this retreat. I was going to do that Facebook group. I was going to start so much. And then I got freaking sicker than a dog. And yeah, here we are. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You just never know.
No.
Right. Yep. All right. So
That's
there we go.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, there
Yeah.
we go. This light is really, really annoying me. Look at that. Look, it is just annoying me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, but it's okay. It's just my own freakiness. I got to get over it.
Oh, of course, my family's texting me. They went out to get something to eat. They leave me here working.
Mm.
They don't care. They don't
You're
care.
working up the sweat too,
They're just
girl.
I'm saying they're going to Subway, I think. But
Ooh, that sounds really good. And number 7.
I so
Oh, that's Jersey Mike's. I like my number
oh, I
7.
love Jersey Mike. Ugh. Well, I'm from Jersey, so there's nothing like Jersey.
Mm.
Okay, so here's my next one.
Okay.
Has time sped up? What is going on? I feel like it's flying by. I wake
Mm,
up and it's Monday and all of a sudden it's Friday.
mm.
So
Welcome to getting older.
I think it's that. I also think that where we are going in the fifth dimension, time does not really exist.
Mm-mm.
We put so much emphasis on time. So
Yes.
things are more felt in the fifth dimension rather than just the way they are in the third dimension. Like it's such a think of a three-dimensional thing. It's so three-dimensional. But
Mm-hmm.
in the fifth dimension, we're more feeling, we're going with the flow, we're more relaxed. We
Yeah,
don't really need time per se. So
absolutely.
it you could say in a way it's speeding up, but I think we just it's similar to the memory. This is also happening for a lot of my clients and myself included. And I've asked, memory seems to be going away because we're not going to be relying on memory anymore. We're becoming intuitive beings. So we're not
I
relying on that.
I don't, oh my God. I wish I had my journal right here. That was one of the things that came up for me because
Really? Oh,
with me being sick, with this COVID thing, I was like, okay, my memory, the fog or whatever. But there was almost like, I'm like, oh, because I think I wrote in the journal that I'm just so afraid I don't want to lose my memory, whatever. And it was almost like you don't need your memory anymore. And I
you
sat
were
on
like,
it.
what?
Like, what? Because you do want to remember people, places, and things, right? But I think that will always be with me is that what we do now is when we read people and we do psychic readings, it's just that knowing. It's just that knowing that comes through us. So yeah, that's a good one, Terry Ann. Wow,
I
that's a
like
really
that. Yeah.
good
So in the fifth dimension, everything is more feeling. We're going to be
one.
based on being an intuitive being rather than using those five senses. We're not going to be using those five senses anymore. We're going to be
Wow.
using our sixth sense, which is the knowing, right?
Yeah.
The feeling,
And don't you think
tuning
we're
in.
already using a lot more of that now?
We are, and a lot of people are waking up as we've discussed before. Oh my God, this is such a great, I'm so excited. People look at you like you're crazy, like this, the world fucking sucks now. And I'm like, no, this is great because it's coming up. Like all the light is pushing that darkness. And what
Aside,
happens is it's pushing it to you want to be able to see what that is. Call it for what it is, right?
right?
Because it exists and it's here, and where we're going it can't go. So
Yeah,
what happens, it has to come to the forefront for it to be seen.
yeah.
We can't hide it anymore. Mother
No,
Mary said it best. She's like, no, she says it needs to come up, it needs to be dissolved because I will
mm,
not stand for it anymore. The way that you people pillage, you rape, you hatred, everything that you
mhm.
people do to one another as a collective on this planet
Yeah,
cannot be stood for anymore.
yeah.
Go
And
Mary.
no, I hear you. And like I even said, like I laugh. I don't laugh at that question, but when people say, "Oh my God, the world," especially with our last election and then this election, it was like, "Oh my God, the person's not even anymore." It's just we can't move forward. Nobody can go anywhere, and everybody keeps on using that same freaking phrase that I don't know why. Talk about triggers. It triggers me. Is, "Oh my God, this world is it's so effed up." And I think I have said this how many times on the show. Tell me a time in life that we've been on this planet that it hasn't sucked, people. Like, do your history. They were in the back days, they were putting you in dungeons, stretching your freaking bodies, cutting off your tongues. Then we had the Vikings. Then we had, the slavery. Then we had, like, tell me a time when this world did not suck. But my thing is it all comes to the collective of the energy. And if everybody talks about how shitty it is, well, guess what? It's going to stay shitty. If we all talk about how we can make it change and how we do love and we got to make it better, even if you say we just got to make it better, you're already putting a little bit of a light into the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got to
So
start.
that's where we're going. That's where we are going. What you
Got
believe in here,
myself.
I'm hot too. What you believe in here is what's going to exist out here. It's
Yep.
very easy to get caught up in that lack, that fear, that judgment, that pain,
Yeah.
whatever it is that's low vibrational. But when
Yeah.
you realize that what you're doing by focusing on that, you're creating more of that. And
Mm-hmm.
people don't like when you tell them. I'm telling you, I have a lot of clients that look at me like, what the fuck? Like, it's me? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
one of those people. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. The
Mm-hmm.
more you live in that lack, the more you're going to get of it. I think my son said it best. He said,
Mm-hmm.
when you cease to suffer, the suffering ceases.
Ooh, I really love that, and I'm
He told
impressed
me
that
that when I
you
was going
say
through a
that fast.
really difficult time.
That would be a tongue twister for me. I'm impressed that you said that. But yes, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. I did a reading today on a lady,
Mm-hmm.
very sweet soul. But I'm not going to use her name or anything because I think she was jumping on here tonight. But
Mm-hmm.
anyhow, that was one of the things, and I'm sure she'll understand because this is part of the session, is that, she was so sick of the negativity that's all around her, like people, friends at work or whatever. And like spirit was telling me, like, I do this once in a while is because this is what you're seeing. You're just taking that negativity and you're putting it right here. So that's all you see. It's like not until you take it away where you can see there is goodness elsewhere. Right now, you're just slapping all that negativity right in front of you that you're blinding yourself that's all you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of cool because until she saw that, she didn't understand, but it was her herself that was drawing in and only picking out all the negative, and she wasn't looking at the beauty all around her.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I love how your son said it. That was really good. Yeah.
He's
All
pretty
right.
cool.
All right. So this one by Sweet Bee. I don't know her
Sweet
name. Oh
Bee,
my
I
God,
love
what's the
that.
I don't remember. I like it though. But Sweet Bee. How can psychics read my energy? That's a good one. These are so
Mm-hmm.
basic, but I like it. I would say for me, it's an energy and a knowing. I know some people do it by also seeing the auras, but I'm not a visual person.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's more just I can feel your energy, and I can just it's just a knowing. I just a knowing that I get from you. That so I guess that would just be for me. It's your energy. Do you feel the auras too when you
I
read
can look at
people?
the
Or
energy bodies. Sometimes I'll see like if there's energy stagnant somewhere, I may see
Mhm.
that it's not moving as fast. Or sometimes when I look at the aura, it's like cloudy or
Mm,
darker and
yeah,
not as bright. But for me, I find I'm also claircognizant, knowing. I get a knowing, like I just don't know why it comes
yeah,
in.
that's
When
me.
I'm tuning into somebody's energy,
Yeah,
it'll come in. And that's different than a mediumship reading, right? Because a
yeah.
mediumship reading, we're connecting with spirit, with
Mhm.
psychic energy. And I never understood what the difference was when I started this. I was like, whatever. I thought they were interchangeable. But
Oh yeah.
not every psychic is a medium.
Yeah, true. And I
And
used
there's
to be
also
that
a
person.
mystic, which is what I am, which is the mystic is the multidimensional. So not
Yeah,
every psychic is a medium or a mystic.
yeah. I wouldn't
Mhm.
say I'm a mystic either. I
Not
would
yet.
say yeah, that's true. That is true because I used to say that I'm not a medium. When people would say, I'm like, no, I'm just a channeler. I channel your higher selves and your guides or whatever, whatever.
Right.
Well, lately, I will get just like today. Like when she asked me, well, I have a lot passed over. Will I can? I'm like, well, I normally collect just your higher self. The first person right off the bat, I start crying like crazy. Wish I would have brought me tissues. I start crying because her sister came in that passed away. And it was so emotional. And then yet I don't consider myself or call myself a medium, but
Right.
yet there we go.
Yeah.
So you're
I
right.
believe you're a mystic. I think it'll come out.
You think
It's a
so?
progression. It's like we talked about. We're never done learning. We get to a
No.
point, and now psychic medium will become natural for you. Okay, well now, well, guess what, Anne? It's time to push you out a little further because you can't stay where you are.
No, I know. But let me get through this. This right now, you know what? I know that. I know that the more you keep on doing it, the more you just learn and certain things will start coming to you. But for some reason, this is where I'm supposed to be right now. I'm
Mhm.
not supposed to be elevating anymore. And I'm not, I'm supposed to be doing something amazing. I want to use that word for where I am right now. And I'm
Mhm.
okay with that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
before I would get somewhere and be like, okay, now what? Okay, now what? But now I'm like, no, this is just enough for me right now.
Yeah.
Let me get this in, do whatever I'm supposed to do with this. And then maybe, yeah, I'll be like, hey, Terry Ann. Can we, yeah,
Can
yeah.
you bring me up
Can
tonight?
you beam me up? I tell you this light, and now I know what the light is. I'm such an idiot. The blinds are shut, and there's just it's a little
Oh,
peek
the
of the
whole.
sun coming through. Because I'm like, there is no light. Like, where the heck is this coming from? So, yeah. All right,
Wow.
that was a good one. That was very, very. Yeah, good. Okay.
All
Oh,
right.
wait, she had a second part. What
Oh,
did
what's the
it
second
say?
part?
I didn't. Okay. How can psychics read my energy? I'm always told my energy is very low. So what can I do? Hmm. Change who you're around. Change your environment. Change your situation. I know that sounds easier said than done, but it really is. Once you try to look around what is causing you to have such the low energy, right? It might be yourself. It might be relationships. It might be your work. It might be your environment um, of your home. If that is what's causing you to be always at a low frequency and working at a low energy, then you might want to take the baby steps of what you can tweak a little bit to
Mhm.
get you out of that. And whatever brings you happiness and excitement, that will change your energy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Okay.
lot of people
That's what
don't
I
know what
thought.
that is. They don't they
Yeah.
don't they don't know what that is anymore. What is it to be happy, or what is it to do something that I get excited about?
Mhm.
Sometimes too, for me, I mean, it was my cycle this month. My energy, if I had you read my energy, you would have been like, "Oh my God." My energy was so low and so drained because
Oh,
it was so bad. I
yeah.
couldn't even do anything. And I can't work when I'm like that. I had a reading Monday. Somebody wanted to read, and I'm like, I can't. I just
Yeah.
can't. And normally I never do that. So what I found though is the more that I put myself first, because before I'd be like, no, 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 I've got to do it.
Mm.
The more I put myself first, the
Mhm.
better it is.
Yeah. I laugh at that because that was how I was this morning. I still was
Mhm.
feeling very foggy, and I didn't want to cancel because I already canceled on this lady. I
Mhm.
canceled all the and they were all new clients. I
Oh
canceled
no.
every single one of them because I was just like, okay, if my brain's foggy, I want to be 100%. And then it's so funny because that was one of my cards. Hello, it's so funny. I don't know why it's so funny, but it's true. Is you need to start taking care of yourself,
Mm.
right? But on this one I didn't want to cancel, and it was so funny. But when I did my little reading before that, that knowing we were talking about earlier is like, spirit's like, I got you, because it's not coming from you, it's coming
Mm.
from us, and we'll give you everything that you need so you won't
Yeah.
overexert yourself. And I was like, oh, love you. And it was amazing, amazing, amazing. I love today's reading. It was beautiful, so I'm very
Oh,
grateful. So
that's
yes,
great.
go, my friend.
Okay, let's see what I have here. So this is funny because we
I
were
like
talking
funny
about
ones.
this earlier.
Isn't
Many,
it funny? Everything we're already talking about is like our questions, right? Okay,
right.
go.
So many people say that this is an illusion we're in. What
Mm,
is your take on the illusion, and is it changeable?
mm. You know
So
what I
yes, this is only a limited piece. Think about it like what you said earlier. You're only focusing on the negative, right? So the
yeah,
negative is all you're going to see. You're focused on the lack. The lack is all you're going to see. You're focused on the fear, the war, whatever it is. That's what you're going to see. It's
right.
all like, think about it like my guides like it's like you're in a play, right? I'm the director,
Mm,
the creator, the actor. It's all me.
yeah,
So what I'm doing here is the leader in this play. I get to co-create this play with
mm,
creator. So however I want this play to be, do I want it to be lack? Do I want it to be fear? Hell no. But do
no.
I get caught in that sometimes? Hell
Oh,
yes.
yes,
So it
that,
is an illusion to the extent, and
yeah,
yes, it's changeable. You can go from 0 to 1,000 very quickly just by changing what you believe is going on up here.
right. Now,
Right?
getting back to that though, do you ever question yourself? Like I do. I even say that too. Like, you know how some people said, "Oh, we're just all the world's just in a dream state," right? I'm like, this is one hell of a dream. Like, who can make up this dream, right?
Yeah.
So I do think that way too. Sometimes I'm like, okay, is this all an imagination? And I'm like, well, why would I imagine, myself being sick for 5 freaking days? Like, why would I put that out there? But yeah.
Well, sometimes too, it's to test you, right? They think
Mhm.
you need a break. What happens to me when I don't take a break? They're going to make me take a break.
Yeah. But Terry, come on, I was on a break. I went to a
I
woman's
get
retreat.
it.
I was hanging out with my friends. Come on, I don't need any more. I was like, I came back, man, after that. I was like, oh my gosh, all my ideas started flooding through again. And
Wow.
then bam. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
Damn. So
Yeah.
it's just
See,
like, I
it's
miss you. And
amazing.
that to me was just, we're human. We're
Yeah.
human. You just
We
gotta
are
roll with
human.
it.
That is an aspect of it. We're here to learn. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to say, I've had a hard friggin' life. If I had to do it again, I would not fucking do it. But I
Mm.
have to say, the things I have learned and the things I've been able to do. I mean, I've just timeline jumped. Up to a couple of months ago, I would have said you're crazy. I don't even know what timeline jumping is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
fucking timeline jumped to a whole nother reality
Oh,
as I was doing the inner work.
right.
So I became aware of all this stuff and it like clicked one day and I was like, that's what it is.
I
So
always
we're
tell
doing
myself,
that while we're here.
yeah, if I come back, man, I'm coming back a male, not just women are like, oh my God, it's so easy. No, I'm not work ethic wise. I'm coming back a male, right? Just I don't know. I don't want periods anymore. I don't want hormonal shit anymore. That's why I'm coming back a male. Oh, and he's going to be very good looking and he's going to be very wealthy. That's exactly how I'm coming back.
I'm
So,
very single and no children.
yeah, there you go. So I just totally replayed it. So all those women out there that are like, I love being a woman, go you be you. But I'm just saying right now, if I come back, I'm coming back a wealthy man, or I'm coming back an animal with a killer house to play in. So
I'm coming back as an indoor spoiled cat. That's what I'm
there.
coming back.
Oh yeah,
I'm
to
gonna
get
be
your
eating
back
fish. I'll be
rub.
like Garfield eating lasagna.
Right? Oh my God, there you go. No, I love it.
Okay, what's your next one?
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Let me see here. Let me see. Why can't my spiritual teacher ever give me? Oh, well, I guess I don't know if this plays into the first part. It says, "Why can't my spiritual teacher ever give me a time when I'm going to meet my partner in life?" That's a good one. And that comes up a lot. Relationship comes a lot
Well, have
into
you done your work? Is it
yeah,
what I'm going to ask you? Oh,
yeah.
Cherie is on. Hi,
Hello,
Cherie.
Marie. I say, with me, I would say that you need to stop asking the when. I think you need to take the when out of the equation and you need to put the what do I need to do to put that partner into my life. I think you need to take out the when and then you need to, yeah, give the what. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to do your work.
Self
A
love
perfect
too.
example. I started dating after my divorce and I dated great guys, but I was self sabotaging. So it could have
Mm-hmm.
been anything that they did. They worked too much, they smoked, they had no children, whatever it was, they were great guys. But I saw the pattern that I was self sabotaging because I didn't think that I deserved it. So, what would happen in that case that I was self sabotaging now? I'm setting myself up for failure. Had I not did the work to understand what that meant, my
Yeah.
husband would have been the next one. It would have been like, okay, well, you haven't done the work. So there he
Yeah.
goes too. So you have to do your work. You have to be on the same frequency of what you want. When you want
Yes.
to create something, when you want to bring something in, you have to be on that frequency. You want to be a millionaire, you have to live like you're a millionaire. You can't be like over here, like I got $2 in the bank, I can't spend
Yeah.
money, and then say I'm going to be a millionaire, because it's not going to work. You've got
Yeah.
to work at your work so that you can bring in that vibrational match for you.
Yeah. And it's that self love. You have to truly, I know people say it over and over. You got to love yourself first, whatever, but you do. You got to love yourself first. And then you got to, with that what, like I was saying, you got to
Mhm.
bring the what in. You got to bring in what do you want, not what you want or what you don't want. Because I think when you fixate on what you don't want, well, now you're inviting those energies of what you don't want into
Right.
your life, and you're getting those same repeat of what you don't want. So even
Exactly.
though you don't think you're asking for it, you actually are asking for it.
Mhm.
So no, that's
So,
it.
Cherie, do you have any questions while we're
Yeah.
talking amongst ourselves here? You have any questions you'd like to ask?
Yeah, come on, Tree.
Who else wants
Yeah,
to join us? Come on, people.
I know. Come on, don't be so shy.
We are gonna manifest here. You and I, let's do it now while we're live. We want to
Mm,
manifest a great audience to interact with because
mm,
we truly believe that interaction is
mm,
one of the best ways to communicate through.
mhm,
I love interacting with other people.
mhm,
And so
mhm.
that's what we want to create,
Amen.
a
Yep.
broad based audience.
Yeah. And we're getting that because we're getting the answers or the questions the right. But it's like, come on, don't that's part of the step of, pretty much all these people that they're
I think they're afraid.
asking, that's it. They're afraid of being seen, but that's part of breaking that wall down and being seen. And who cares? If somebody saw this and I saw, oh, somebody got on here. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what I mean? Nothing's gonna happen to you. They're not gonna go and break down your door or something like that.
Right.
So, yeah.
What?
Oh, my computer just totally flashed and went back up. I'm like, oh, I lost you. Oh my god, I thought I lost you. All right,
No. Well, that's spirit messing around with you.
I tell you. Okay, so do you have another question or I have another one?
Go ahead.
Okay. We already did the life partner. Um,
I have a good one after that. I just
mm.
found it.
Oh, Carl, this was a good one. What is the best part you like about your gifts?
Mm.
I love that one actually. That's because of like today. Today was a very emotional. Because sometimes I do feel the emotions of who I'm bringing in. It
Mhm.
is very emotional, but man, did it really help that person release so much that she was bottling inside of her, and that's what I love more about my gifts. The one I would say the unconditional love that I feel around me, I can't express it.
Mm.
I don't think I can put it into words what it is. And then two, when you really help somebody connect and really feel them just release, just release.
Mm.
Because when you're reaching out, when you get to the point where you're reaching out to people like you or me, I think that's when you have used up all your resources and you're at a loss. There's some people that feel nowadays because of it being more aware, people feel more comfortable, right? And there's these coaches are popping up everywhere, which I love. But I really do believe that it's they're at a standstill and they're just at a loss and they need just some of that direction. And I love when spirit comes in
Mhm.
and just fills them up, not necessarily of what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And then once they realize that and they accept it, it's like that. Oh my gosh. You
Mm.
can just watch their shoulders and everything just sink. And that's what fills my heart. What about you?
Yeah, it's amazing. I love healing. Healing is my first love, no matter what. I just had somebody in the other day, and she she swore I had her like on a vibrating table. She's like,
Oh, I love
"Is this like a regular table?" I'm like, "Yeah, I totally
it.
cover. Is
This
this a
is my
regular?" She's
fun
like,
table.
"I have never experienced a healing
Mm,
session like this in my life."
I
She
love
said
that.
it
That's
was
yum.
so wonderful, and she was so when she came in, her energy was low.
Hmm.
By the time she left, she was like a whole nother person. I
Love it.
love, I get so much from what I
Hmm.
give. I
Yep.
can't even explain it in words either. I feel like what I give, I get back so like tenfold, so much.
Yeah.
I'm exhilarated for the day. Like it doesn't drain me. Now, if I do work a lot, it will drain me
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
the physical body just cannot keep up. I mean, I don't care
Yeah.
who you are, psychic, medium, mystic, whatever, healer, you continually work, this physical body cannot keep up. Not yet.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But so healing is my first love. I love doing what I do. There's no other feeling in the world like seeing your client leave
Oh,
with
there isn't.
feeling one way and then leaving with another way.
Mhm. Because I think it not only that is, when I used to do esthetician school and I used to do facials and stuff on people, and they say the best compliment you can give to somebody is when they don't compliment you at all. Sometimes it's just you just see it in their face and their skin is just glowing and they're just like they wake up from that massage like that's what I'm saying is they fall asleep during the massage and then when they wake up they're just like, oh my gosh, like that was just amazing. That to me is like the
Yeah.
best compliment because it not only am I working on them, but it's actually giving me gratification too because it's making me know that yes, I'm doing something right and there is a
Mhm.
purpose for that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
because I agree when I do that one after another, that cold calling readings and stuff with a whole bunch of people, that now that's exhausting to me. But when I just do a one-on-one like this, as long as
Mhm.
I can detach myself afterwards, I'm really okay. I don't feel that drain because I think I protect myself before and I
Yeah.
protect myself after and
Mhm.
yeah, go from there. Yeah, that's a good one. Yep. All right, my friend, go.
So here's a good one. Have
Okay.
you ever had a near-death experience, and if so, what happened?
Ooh, yeah.
So yes, I have.
Oh, you have.
I
Yeah.
have. I want to say I've had one, and possibility I had a choice to leave recently. But
Mm,
the first one was I was really sick back in I think it was 2016 or 17. But my daughter was also sick, and she had a baby dose of albuterol she was using through the nebulizer.
mm-hmm.
So my husband gave me a baby dose of albuterol. My
Mm,
heart almost, I think it stopped because I was so sick. And so let's go back. 2 weeks
yeah.
before that, I had a premonition that I was going to die. And I said to my husband, I think I'm going to die. I saw this and this is what I saw, and I need you to watch me for the next 2 weeks. And I heard 2 weeks. Um,
Wow.
you're crazy. You're just being over dramatic.
Mhm.
Well, 2 weeks to the day later, he gave me this albuterol. My heart stopped. I was on the bed. I could motion for him to, oh, I'm getting chills. Motion for him to call 911. My daughters are there, my husband. The same thing that happened in the premonition happened in at the time of my near death experience, except this time I went further away. In the premonition, I was able to watch the scene of what was happening. In the
Right.
near death experience, I left my body and I was leaving. And so I could see, and when I came back, I was able to, it felt like I was gone 2 seconds, I swear, but it was longer. Um,
Right.
I could explain. I saw them doing chest compressions on me. I heard what
Oh
they
my
said.
gosh.
I heard
Yeah.
what they said. I could see my daughters crying and my husband very upset. And as fast as I was gone, this is what it felt like. As fast as I was gone, I heard go back. And I was
Wow.
immediately back in my body. And when I woke up, I was in the ambulance already. So
Wow.
it was like very fast, very quick. I can't tell you how long I was gone, but you
Mhm.
can't make this shit up. There was a premonition. I saw it. I told him to watch me. It happened, except like I said, with the near death experience, I went further away, and I was
Wow.
given the choice to. I was told to go back. Now, fast forward to when we were on the road.
Mhm.
The only time I was sick in the whole 2 years, um, I got a really high fever, and I was in this like hallucinogenic state. I was in between sleep and awake, and I was very bad for like a whole day.
Right.
Nothing else. I had nothing else wrong with me. No cold, no other symptoms. I leave, and I'm told you can leave if it's too difficult for you. It was around the time of Anthony's second anniversary,
Right.
from the time he left that my son died. And I was told, I was given the choice, if it's too difficult for you, you can leave now.
Mm.
I chose to stay.
Yeah.
Now I'm like just second guessing that, but I was given the
Oh,
choice,
I'm
and I
glad
was,
you decided to stay.
because it's fucking hard down here,
No, it's
it's like
totally
let's
hard.
go.
It's totally hard. Yeah.
So I was given the choice at that time. I wouldn't say it was a near death experience per se, but I was given the choice. I probably, if I would have said yes, I truly believe that I would have died that night for whatever
Wow.
reason. And so I do believe that we have exit points
Yeah.
and that we can exit at specific times. But if it's not your time, I truly believe that it's not going to be your time no matter what you do. Like my son, I kept second guessing myself and feeling guilty. Like, what if I got him to the
Mhm.
hospital? What if he called me? I had all these things going through my head.
Right.
And he showed me a video of a woman that hemorrhaged to death in the hospital and died. And he said, "Do you see? You couldn't have saved me. It
Mhm.
wasn't your choice. It wasn't my choice. It
Right.
was my time to go." So I
Right.
truly believe we have these times to go, and when it's your time, it's your time.
I agree.
But I truly believe that no matter what we go through, we are always supported. What I saw
Mm.
in that
Mhm.
time that I was gone was beautiful. I
Mm.
I honestly can tell you, even seeing my husband and my daughters screaming and crying, I didn't want to go back. I did not want
Mm.
to go back. And immediately I was fucking back.
Wow. See, that's amazing to me. You read all the stories and see all that. It would be so interesting to kind of see. I don't know, like,
What about you? I know
um,
you had
yeah,
an
mine
experience.
wasn't the near. It wasn't a near death, but I think I know I definitely was given um
The choice.
the choice after my hysterectomy last April, what,
Hmm.
almost a year ago. Yeah, out of recovery, it was time for me to get my next shot. And I remember my husband being on the side and kind of in that sedative. I know it was fully sedative. And the nurse comes in and says, "Okay, you're ready for your next thing." And it was just like, no. And then I could see my dad. Like I could just see his
Mm-hmm.
I just knew it was my dad, right? But I couldn't see him. It wasn't like looking at you, but I just knew it was my dad. And he was kind of just like, if you take the shot, you're going to come with me. If you say
Mm-hmm.
no to the shot, you're going to stay. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just remember looking at my husband, and he must have knew because I did tell him my dad's here. So I think that scared the shit out of him. Like, oh my gosh, but it was definitely that choice. Either you need, but his message to me was, this is when I wasn't being so active on social media, really getting myself out there. And in the way that my dad jokes, it was so funny. It was like, okay, but if you don't take the shot, then you need the shit, what is that shit? Get off the pot or whatever. You just need to then do what you're
Mm,
supposed to do here, Anne. Stop messing around.
yeah.
That was what I got from that. And I was like,
Wow.
okay, and I didn't take it. And yeah, and so that was cool. But then a couple of hours later, I remember the nurse coming in, and I guess I don't know, it must read out like all the times because she's like, okay, she goes, we had a glitch in the computer around this time. I wish I would have asked more if that was that time when that happened to me,
Right.
just to see, because she's like, okay, why are we missing a big, like a spot? She goes, everything's okay, everything's fine. Just for some reason, nothing recorded at this time. And
Right,
I
because your
really
dad was there.
I wish I would have asked to see if that was it. That would have been really,
Wow.
really cool. Yeah.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
I do believe in it, but I think it would be kind of cool to float over yourself and kind of look down.
I don't know. I didn't want to come back, so I don't know about that.
Oh,
The premonition scared me. I have to say, the premonition did scare the shit out of me. My son
oh,
wasn't
really?
gone at that time. He was still
Oh,
alive. And I
mm,
had a young baby. I forget how old she was, maybe
oh,
6.
yeah, I could see
So I was like, I knew that wasn't a time. And I knew I also when they asked me to go and I said
that.
no
Yeah,
to go, I was like,
yeah, yeah. The only thing I ask is if I go, you know what? I'm not afraid of dying.
no, not
I'm
at
not
all.
afraid of dying. And years ago, I remember this lady. I was going to this church and she said the same thing. She's like, I'm just ready for, when I go home, I'm ready to go
Mm,
home. And I just thought that was the weirdest thing. But then now that I'm getting older or whatever, I'm like, you know what? I agree. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm
yeah.
afraid of how I'm going to die. So like I always tell my spirits, and when I pray to God, I'm like, just take me in my freaking sleep. I don't
Yep.
care what it is. How, we all die.
Mhm.
We're dying as soon as we're freaking born, right? I'm like, I just don't want to be in pain. I don't do well with pain.
Yeah.
So just take me at night and just, yeah, that's how I want to go.
You
All right, my friend, go.
don't have any more?
I have,
Go ahead.
I have, um, oh, No, I'm going to do this one before I go back to this one that I skipped
Okay.
over. This one is from Emma, and this one is so good. This is a good question. Are all readings good? Are they all successful? No. I do
There's
have
a
to
lot
say,
of variables to that too.
I do have to say in the beginning, I was when I was using more of my ego, more of what I was receiving from spirit, those ones sucked more because I was stretching. I was trying to pull the truth. I was trying to read the person, but um now I have to say yes, they're good. You know what I mean? I'm not sometimes I'm off. I gotta admit, sometimes I'm off. I'll get like I got a girl, a matter of fact, I need to do a check. I kept on getting like a street, right? And then with the light posts and stuff like that, but because they give me like pictures and I got to deframe from my pictures of what that means or how I interpret it. And
Right.
so I'm just like, okay, what
They
is
use symbols.
yeah, so does that mean she drives by this, whatever, or is she on the right path? It never came clear to me. So it left me questioning the reading, and I don't like that. I don't like that. So compared, the readings now are great compared to the beginning. No. And there's just some people also, it hasn't happened in a while because I think I don't attract those people anymore. Um, there's just some people that come for a reading that don't want a reading. Does that make sense? They
Yep.
don't want a reading. They
They
just
want you to tell them what they want to hear.
yeah. They don't want they don't want a reading. They just want to here's something what they want to hear, thinking that's exactly what I'm going to give them. Wrong, because it's not me giving the
Right.
information.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just trusting. I trust my spirit guides. I call them my spirit team. They nail it. They nail it because even like today, like the lady was talking and she was talking about a neighbor, and they're like to tell her not to read too much into it just because she has a stale bitch face. And I'm like, I am not gonna say this lady has a stale bitch face, but I had to say it. And as soon as I said it, she was like, oh, she does. She does. And I'm like, oh my God, that just kills me. But it's just the trusting. So that's a good one. How about you?
I've had many of variables. You know, a lot goes into it. Like I said, your vibration has to be up.
Yep.
Their vibration has to be up. They have to
Yep.
be open to what they're doing. I've had people like, like my husband, I think, told somebody we're buying a car once that I was psychic. He's like, well, read me. I was like, I'm not a fucking circus act. I ain't fucking reading you. Get
Thank
the fuck
you.
out of here. Like he was
Yep.
like, oh, you can't? I was like, oh, I can. I
Man.
choose not to.
Yeah. Because it doesn't work that way. If it worked that way, I would be at every freaking 7-Eleven buying the lottery ticket. I wouldn't be here right now. Trust me,
Right.
if that's the way this
Yeah.
shit
And
works.
so, they don't always want to hear. I don't like when they say like, well, what do you think? I'm not thinking anything. I'm getting information. This has nothing to do with me, like
Yeah.
you said. This is information either coming from your higher self, or if it's a mediumship, a loved one. Sometimes the information comes through is not clear. Also, I get numbers a lot. So I get numbers, just whatever they are. They might not even know at the time what they are. Sometimes when I get them for myself, I don't know at the time for months later. But I always tell them, keep that information with you. It's going to pop up one day, whether you're driving somewhere and it pops in front of your face, or maybe it is lottery numbers. Who the fuck knows? But pay attention to what that is, because we are not always giving everything about it.
Right.
Sometimes it is just, for me, it's a number about whatever it
Right.
is,
And
and
maybe
it'll
it's
show
not
up.
supposed to come out at that time anyhow. And I'm so
Mhm.
glad that totally thought, because I totally forgot about this a couple of hours ago before we dropped on. There was a girl that a friend of mine, I did a reading on her.
Mhm.
And I was telling her that I see her working with a group of people. And now she works by herself, right? And she was like, no, I don't see it. I just need to work harder here, here, here. Well, then, a couple of months later, she literally calls me and she's like, are you kidding me? Exactly. It's that kind of setting that you were talking about. It totally came to my attention. So that's what I mean. What we're saying now, it might be that time frame where it's not here is like spirit's already showing us what's going on out here, but you're wanting this here now, that
Yeah,
gratification,
I had a woman like that. I told her she was moving. And, oh no, I have no interest in moving. No, none, none.
Mhm.
Again, months later, I get a call. Oh, I moved. No shit. No shit. Really?
Yeah, yeah,
And it's funny because I don't know about you, but I don't remember. I remember the memorable ones, but I don't
yeah.
remember. People come back and go, "Remember you told me a year ago?" Blah, and I'm like, "No, I don't
You
remember
know
any
what?
of that."
I'm getting better at trying to, but I agree. I suck at that. And sometimes I feel so bad. I don't, and I understand that I'm not supposed to. I think that's a way for me to
Well, it'd
wash
be
away
like a
the
computer. You
energy.
have all that shit running around up there.
Yeah. But I do feel bad because to them it might have been an amazing, whatever. And they're like, oh my God, I remember. And I'm like, mm, it's almost like when you meet somebody and you can't remember their name, you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, hey, how you doing? So yeah, you feel stupid, and sometimes I feel bad for that. But I
Yeah.
think that's a way for me, just because I'm washing it away. Once
Mhm.
we get done, like tonight, when I get done,
Yeah.
I'll go in there, I'll take a shower, and just wash all this energy. Even though this is killer energy, I love the Q and
I
A's.
love this.
Who are into
Yeah,
them?
come on. So send us some more. We love them.
Yes.
Okay, I have another one.
Okay.
What was one of your most amazing paranormal experiences?
Ooh, Miss
I
Kelly.
have to say, I've had several friggin' paranormal experiences. This is a killer one. Okay,
Like
the
the beam me
most
up,
memorable
like ET kinda? Is that what we're talking,
or
paranormal?
spirit or whatever. So I'm going to tell you
Okay,
mine, and then you can bring
okay,
up yours.
I'll see, yeah.
Okay, so mine is twofold because Sherry says she loves the Q&A. So mine is twofold because my husband was in a separate car and also experienced this.
Oh, I
So
love
we
that.
were driving, I think we were driving from North Carolina to Virginia when we were on the road. And so he was in the truck in the RV and I was behind him in the Cadillac, right? So
Right?
I'm by myself and he's with Sophia in the truck driving. We get to this spot and it's foggy like crazy. First of all, the sun was fully out. There was no ringing or nothing. We get to this area, it's completely foggy. I'm trying to clean the windows. I can't see anything,
Uh-huh,
right? I'm doing all this. I don't remember. I think I looked at the clock before that somewhere. I
right.
looked at the clock again as I came out of it and it was clearing up. It was a half an hour later. So
Oh,
we went through a portal. I went through a portal. He went through a portal. So he was in a totally separate car from me. And we
oh,
get to where we're going. And he's like, what the fuck was that? Like, I'm driving and there's all this fog and I couldn't see shit. He said, and all of a sudden, then we get back and it's like time was gone and we're where we're supposed to be. And I'm like, what the fuck? I said,
oh
that
my
exactly happened to me.
see, that gives me goosebumps.
Holy shit. I was like, we went through a portal in
Yeah, you
that spot.
did.
If I could go back to that spot, oh my God, it was so fucking cool. So I don't
Oh,
remember anything that happened. I know we lost human time, a half hour, how long we were gone. So the three of us were gone at the same time, which I also find interesting. Um,
ooh.
he's had several of these experiences happen to him when he was on the road, like 3 o'clock in the morning driving. So that was one of the most exciting ones because we were separate but together. So we both got to experience that. Isn't that fucking
Wow,
cool? I
that is
was
really
mind
cool.
blown.
I don't think I've had anything that cool. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that.
Mhm.
The only thing that I can say, like, I do know that I saw when my younger years, I saw a flying saucer. I know that.
Okay.
Um,
Well, that's an
yeah, I
interesting.
know for the truth, and the only reason I knew it is because by the time I ran to go get my mom and my dad to tell them to come back, of course it was freaking gone, and then a race a couple of years, just a couple of years ago, I think like maybe 4 years ago, when me and my husband drove our motorcycles out to Roswell, New Mexico,
Mhm.
and it was the I don't know UFO convention or
Oh
whatever.
my
And
God.
we went into one of the centers, and there on the wall in the museum, that's what I saw. I've never seen it before. Everybody sees the dome with a light kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it, but
Mhm.
when I saw it on the wall, I'm like, that's it. That's exactly
Wow.
what I saw. That's
That's so
exactly what I
amazing.
that's
Cherie
exactly
said,
what
I
I
love that. I would love that experience.
I
Yeah, I wish
know.
I knew where I went. It's like so friggin' cool, right? I wish I had some remembrance, but I know we went somewhere and I know it was important for us to go at that time. And
Yeah.
that was the time that we were guided to stay. I thought we were going to be in Virginia for a week or maybe a couple of days. We stayed in Virginia for 6 weeks.
Oh, well, I think I remember that you guys were there a long time, weren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I drove them crazy.
Oh, see, I haven't, but I would love to have something
Well,
like
think
that.
about it, because there's more. So like because I can open portals. I don't like to, and I don't do it intentionally, but sometimes I've been told I'm a gatekeeper. So I don't know a lot about it,
I
but
get
I
told.
do know I can open portals. And so we have a lot of portals in our body too. I just learned this
Mm,
recently. Um, with the work I was doing with Mary. But so yeah, we're able. Being a mystic means you're able to do all these things. And so as you progress and you raise your frequency, and whatever I did to jump timelines is the work that it's taking me to. But I
yeah,
think it's so cool to think about it. But you have to be careful. Of course, there's dark and there's light. I'm
yeah.
always very careful. That I had no control over. So that's not something I had any control
Yeah.
over.
The only thing that I can think that would be kind of paranormal craziness is we were getting back from a camping trip, and I just normally I come back, we unload the trailer, whatever, but I just wanted to go lay down. There was just something about me that I just had to go. I just had to go lay down, and I told my
Mhm.
husband I'd clean out the trailer when we get back. I went upstairs, and when I was falling asleep, I woke up, but I saw all it's almost like all the walls around me, the paint was dripping off the walls.
Oh my
And
God.
then the stairs were breaking down. It was the
Ooh,
most
getting chills. So like you're
weirdest.
in another dimension.
Yes, but and then you see it and you're like, what the hell? Then you wake up and it feels so real that you knew it was there. And I was like, okay, what is going on? And the first and then there was my daughter that at that time I think Paige was probably 19. And but I saw her in the corner as a baby just sitting there in the corner. And I'm like, okay, what is this? Well, come to find out, I won't let her shit out. But while we were gone, she did some not very good stuff in the house. And I think it was a disrespect thing. Like the walls were showing me that she came down because as soon as that happened, I was like, And I even called my sister after that. And I'm like, is Paige over there? And she's like, yeah. She's like, did you find out? And I'm like, no, but now I do. Now I do. But that's what it was. It was the house telling me that it was disrespected,
Wow.
and it was
Mhm.
it was a bad disrespect, let me tell you.
Wow.
So
Well, I
yeah.
have another one. Didn't happen to me though. It happened to a friend of mine. Listen to this.
Oh,
Um,
we should do one all about this. Have everybody come
yeah,
on that has
that's a good one. I'm gonna put that down. Paranormal experiences.
yeah.
Okay, so she was driving with her daughter in the car.
Hmm.
She started getting very anxious. Her daughter was in the back seat and she was in the front. She said, "Yeah, so cool."
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be fun. So they were driving, and then she started getting very anxious, like she couldn't breathe and all this stuff. She was really having bad anxiety,
Hmm.
and so I'm getting chills. So she finally pulled off the road there, and her daughter says to her, I forget how old her daughter was, maybe 10 or 11, and she says, "What's the matter?" And her mother said, I don't know. I don't feel right here. Something's really freaking me out. And her daughter says, "This is where we died."
No way.
Oh my God, I'm getting chills. When she told me, I was like, holy shit. So they died there together.
Mm.
And so the mother was feeling the experience. Again, that's what we talk about with the cellular memory. Her soul was recognizing that spot where they died together.
Oh
And her
my.
daughter was confirming for her that feeling.
See, I love that shit. But now you just made me think of another one, and I don't know if I want to
Okay.
say it or do I want to keep it for the next one. But I'm going to say it. Oh my
Okay. We
gosh!
can talk about it the next time because there'll be other people on. Hi, Deirdre.
Yeah, hey, Deirdre, you got to come on next time. We're going to talk about our what would you call
Paranormal
it?
experiences.
Paranormal experiences on your next one. Oh, let's do it because this one, this just totally. I gotta. Okay, then I'm going to write down what the feeling. So I that will be my input for that the next one, petal.
Okay.
But I do have another question before we go. Do we have
Okay.
time? Yes.
Yep.
Hello, Deidre. Oh, I hope you're doing well, girlfriend. Let's see here. Do all do all psychics read the same? No. I don't think I've come across anybody that we do it quite the same. For me, when I do a reading, the first thing I do, because that was very personal for me and it took me a lot to come out of my shell, so I always meditate like a good 20 to 30, or 30 minutes before I go on with somebody. I ask their higher selves to come in and just drop me down some information. So then when I do read with a person, I please ask them nothing. And I just say, let me just make sure that it is you that I'm connecting with. And I will read everything that I'm getting. And then most of the time it's 100%.
Mhm.
Um, and then I have to stare. Well, not, I guess I'm realizing I don't have to anymore. My a
Mhm.
good friend of mine, Dawn, she helped me break myself out of that because I thought I needed to do that. And oh, you're the one who taught me this. But it works for me. If I stare into people's eyes, I talked to somebody else about this, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm just looking into somebody's eyes." But to me, it's almost like how you said you're the gatekeeper. When I look into somebody's eyes, it's almost like a shedding, and it's just like a deep hallway. So it's like a gateway to me,
That's a gift.
the eyes. Is it?
Mhm.
I'll take it. But yeah, you're the one who told me when you had me staring at the light,
Mhm.
the scene and whatever. But that's how it just became it. And so now, if I look into somebody's eyes, and most of the time, if they're brand new, I'll tell them, "Can you please send me a selfie of you of that day in the morning, so I can meditate on them and then also stare into the eyes." And it's
Mhm.
just that's my opening to my reading.
Mhm. I
And
love that.
then yeah. So how do you start your reading, or how do you
Well,
read?
back in the day, so when I was in the boutique, I didn't have that luxury. I had people coming in, bing, 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 bing. And so in the beginning, it was hard because the energies would mesh. I had to really make sure that I cleared between clients.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, you're
yeah.
talking back to back to back. So there was really very rarely
And
a
they're
break.
physically in there. They're physically, yeah. I could, yeah.
So
That's
I like to touch also.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I get a very strong connection because I am feeling and clairsentient and I do a lot of healing work. I get that similar flash when I touch.
mm.
So I touch and then I also go into their field. So I bring
Right.
myself out of my body and into their field. And that's how I'll get information. But if in the beginning I couldn't, I didn't know how to clear and do all that stuff. So my things
Mm.
would be kind of muddled.
Right,
And I
right.
found out later, that's because I didn't clear in between. So as I went on and I progressed, I've learned to
Mhm,
clear and do those different things so that I can not get that stuff interchanged. When I do readings now, which I very rarely do, I like to do them.
mhm.
Sometimes I like cards. I think people like cards too because they
They
get
do
that,
love cards. Yep.
and it helps them to see like some tangible evidence
Right,
besides that.
right,
I
right.
also like questions. I'm not a kind of person that I don't like to fool around. I don't want to be here for 3 hours with you personally. You have a question for me, just fucking tell me. I know this sounds horrible.
Love and light. Love and light.
I'm keeping it real. I don't want to spend
You
three
are.
hours with you. I'm sorry.
No,
You
I love
know,
you.
give me your questions, and then I like to go through their questions first, and then I like to see what comes up
Mm,
because I want to make sure I attend to what their needs are. Not, say they come in and they want to know about a guy, but now I'm looking at their aura and there's stuff coming in about them medically. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to spend that time just getting what I'm getting. When you have a serious question you would like an answer to, I'd rather attend to those questions and then go into, all right, well, this is what also came up while you're wanting to know those answers.
Right, right.
So that's the way I do it. But I very rarely do reading. I just did one the other day, though. I love them. I mean, and I
Mhm.
love connecting, but it's just not where my focus is.
It's
Like what
just,
you said, your focus is. It's just
yeah.
not where my focus is, and
Mhm,
so for me, it was a great starting point. But
mhm.
I've progressed out of that. I very rarely even do them anymore.
But see that I think that's just part of the shifting because like I think we talked about this before. Like we started, well, at least for me, I started with the Reiki, right? And then the Reiki got me to my channeling and the visions. And then now with doing that, it's like it's pivoted me again where I say that I don't really want to say the life coach, but I think that's what it is. I'm just really helping people see and guide them through their own muck or whatever they're going through and using spirit to help me see what they need to see and
Mhm.
then giving them the knowledge that I've learned and putting it together. That's why always say it's my spiritual with my practical and I put it together because it's both working together to help move that person forward.
Right.
But who knows where that's going to take me down the road. It might take me down another path. And
Mhm,
yeah, I
mhm.
might be like I said, Terry, it's time to beam me up. Let's do it. So you
Let's
just
go together.
you never know. Oh my gosh, this was I love Q&As. I love it.
Me too. I
Deidre,
think we should do more.
I feel bad. Do you have a question before we take off, girlfriend? We'll see if she has anything. Did you have any more? I think that was all of mine.
That's all I had tonight. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was so fun. I'm looking forward. So next week, let's talk about. So we talked about doing an interactive exercise next week. Do you remember what that was about?
Yeah, I think I was just going to do something where everybody could get on, but I wonder if that would have to be a Zoom so everybody could do it, or we could just do it here and then, but you can't really, I don't know, just give them little tidbits. No, she doesn't,
Okay.
of what they could maybe, I don't know. I think an interactive one would be so cool of a learning technique. But to tell you the truth, I would almost want to erase that and put in, let's see what shit people have experienced. Let's see
Okay.
what
So
woo
let's
woo
do
stuff.
paranormal that week, and we're going to get lots of people to come on here and tell us
Yes.
what kind
So
of
you guys
paranormal
share,
experiences.
tell everybody to get here 5 o'clock
And
Pacific.
then the week after, we're going to have my friend Nancy Youre out on to discuss what she does. And she actually just started a new TV channel. So that's going to be amazing to hear and watch and see.
Okay. Yeah, I am. I'm ready. Let's do it. Yeah.
All
And
right,
then,
guys. Thank you for joining us. And we'll
yeah.
see you next
Yeah.
Thursday.
Sorry so long. It was a good one, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.